Greenwich Village is, probably the single most interesting neighborhood in the United States. At least, looked at from the perspective of the arts, of literature, and so on. Also architecturally, it's a very significant place. But the more you study the history of Greenwich Village, the more you're impressed by the amazing people who lived and worked in the village. The village of today, it's a very different place from what it once was. It attracted a lot of creative people once upon a time, in part because it was a relatively inexpensive place to live, but also it had a quality to it. The streets had a very particular quality to them that made them different from any other part of New York City. And I think that a lot of the people who lived and worked in Greenwich Village may initially have been attracted to the place because the rents were low, or because so many people like them already lived in the village. But once they had spent some time in the village, I think the quality of the streets and the houses and the spaces of the village really began to affect them in a really deep way. My series, Cultural Landscapes of Greenwich Village, is a series of 3 walking tours that examine the lives of writers, artists, and musicians in Greenwich Village in the context of their neighborhoods, and to see what sustenance they drew from their neighborhoods and how their neighborhoods inspired and helped shape their work, and by extension how you as a writer, artist, or musician might draw from your immediate physical surroundings. For example, right here on Washington Square North, you had people as diverse as the architect Richard Morris Hunt, the painter Edward Hopper, and Bob Dylan. All of them lived right along here at one time or other. And in addition to discussing the lives of the artists and writers and musicians and architects who called Greenwich Village home, we're also going to be looking at the history of Greenwich Village, at this neighborhood that keeps dying and is then reborn in a new guise. The history is endlessly fascinating, and I hope that you'll join us on the series Cultural Landscapes of Greenwich Village.